दोस्तों स्वागत है आप सभी का हमारे YouTube चैनल मैथमेटिकल पाठशाला में। हम लोगों ने लास्ट लेक्चर में एनालिटिक फंक्शन की डेफिनेशन देखी थी और कुछ उसकी बेसिक प्रॉपर्टीज देखी थी कि अगर आपका डेरिवेटिव थ्रू आउट आपके किसी डोमेन पे वैनिश हो रहा है तो आप डायरेक्टली बोल सकते हैं कि आपका फंक्शन कांस्टेंट हो जाएगा प्रोवाइडेड इफ योर फंक्शन इज एनालिटिक। एंड कुछ और बेसिक इक्विवेलेंट स्टेटमेंट देखे थे। देयर इज अनदर नेम फॉर द एनालिटिसिटी, यू कैन कॉल दोज फंक्शन एज अ होलोमॉर्फिक फंक्शन। अगर कोई होलोमॉर्फिक फंक्शन बोले या एनालिटिक फंक्शन बोले, दोनों का मीनिंग सेम है। जैसे आप रियल पार्ट के लिए कभी कभी ऐसे डिफाइन करते हो C of D, that means collection of all continuous functions defined on domain D. So you can use this notation H of D, collection of all holomorphic functions defined on the domain D, that is collection of all analytic function defined on domain D. And we have seen the necessary condition for the differentiability that will be applied on the analytic functions also, because the analyticity requires differentiability. तो अगर आपका कोई फंक्शन डिफरेंशिएबल है, इट सेटिस्फाई Cauchy-Riemann इक्वेशन। अगर आपका फंक्शन एनालिटिक है किसी पॉइंट पर, देन इट विल सेटिस्फाई Cauchy-Riemann इक्वेशन इन एटलीस्ट वन नेबरहुड ऑफ दैट पॉइंट। एंड वी हैव सीन two forms of Cauchy-Riemann equation. One is based on x and y variable and one is based on the z bar variable. Now let me give you another form of Cauchy-Riemann equation, that is polar form of CR equations. Suppose we are having analytic function fz which is of the form u plus iv, or you can call it this function is differentiable at certain points, say z naught. So I am seeing how can I write the polar form of Cauchy-Riemann equation. Set x is equal to r cos theta, y is equal to r sin theta, and I am interested only in a non-zero complex number, because for zero complex number I cannot define the polar representation. So if I set this, then my u will be again a function of r comma theta, my v will be a function of r comma theta, but already my u is a function of x comma y and v is a function of x comma y. So I will transform my variables. See, what can I do? I know already this thing, ux is equal to vy and uy is equal to minus vx. I know this thing. What can you say about this? UR. I want to transform my u function which is already in the variable x and y, and I want to transform my u into the variable r and theta. So you can treat in this format. Your u will be u of r comma theta. So you can say this thing del u over del x over del r plus del u over del y over del r. That I can do from the chain rule. This is coming from the functions of several variable theory. So this is your ur. Similarly, I can compute vr, u theta and v theta also. I am writing u theta also in this way, and then I will directly compute. U theta will be del u over del x over del theta plus del u over del y over del theta. I will have this. Now see, my ur is this, I am writing as ux del x over del r. If you differentiate this partially with respect to x, r, you will get cos theta only, plus del u over del y I am writing as uy del y over del r, that is this is sin theta only. I can write VR also. My VR will be Vx del x over del r. This will be del x over del r will be cos theta plus Vy sin theta. My u theta will be u theta I can write from this section. Del u over del x I am writing as ux del x over del theta. If you find del x over del theta, you will have minus r sin theta. So minus r sine theta plus uy, and del u over del theta, del y over del theta, it will be r cos theta. This is my v theta. I can write v theta. This will be vx del x by del theta. Del x by del theta is minus r sine theta. So minus vx r sine theta and plus vy r cos theta. I will have this. Now what I am having from the Cauchy-Riemann equations, I am having ux is equal to vy. So I can use these things. This ux is equal to vy. If I use, then ur will be vy cos theta. This uy will be minus vx. Okay, I am writing in this manner. Ur is equal to ux. I can write as vy cos theta plus uy. Here I am having vy cos theta. So vy cos theta I am having here. Okay. So I will require vx. So my uy will be minus vx. So this is minus vx sine theta. So this is my ur. So this is ur is equal to vy cos theta minus vx sine theta. So I am having this type of expression. So if I multiply with r, I will have same expression. So I am having ur is equal to v theta. This is the first Cauchy-Riemann equation in terms of polar coordinates. Now I can use this thing also. If I use here my vx is I am using in this vr is equal to vx as minus uy. So this is minus uy cos theta plus vy same as ux sin theta. So you can see this v theta is uy r cos theta, and here I am having minus ux r sin theta. So if I multiply with r vr, then I will have minus r uy cos theta, but it is of positive. So I can say r vr is equal to minus u theta if I am not committing any calculation mistake. So these are two Cauchy-Riemann equations. They may ask you in your examination directly, especially in your CSIR-NET examination, in your DU examination, but in CMI, in TIFR, in NBHM PSD, in GATE examination, they will not ask from this section directly question. But they may ask based on their application. So this is my CR equations. Now let me define one more characterization for the analytic function. This may be very important. अगर आप लोगों ने वेक्टर कैलकुलस पढ़ा हुआ है तो वहां पर स्केलर फंक्शन पढ़ा होगा या स्केलर पोटेंशियल पढ़ा होगा. अगर आपको स्केलर पोटेंशियल निकालना आता है तो यहाँ पर आपको बिल्कुल भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी. Suppose fz is equal to u plus iv is analytic in domain D. This D is a subset of C first. But whenever I am saying this D is a domain of some real value or this D is a domain of a real variable function. That means suppose let phi x comma y be a real valued function defined on the domain D. So this D with respect to the complex variable, this D is representing the same domain if I remove the imaginary part, because I can treat my C as a R2. So this, when I am saying this phi is defined on this, that means this D I am taking from this section and I am removing the imaginary part. This you will get soon why I am doing this. Let phi x y be a real valued function defined on the domain D such that all second order partial derivatives of phi are continuous on D and satisfies phi satisfies Laplace equation on D, then we say phi is a harmonic function. जब मैंने आपको पार्शियल डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन पढ़ाया था तो उसके लास्ट में आपसे लेप्लास इक्वेशन के सॉल्यूशन फाइंड कराए थे. अगर लेप्लास इक्वेशन हो या पॉइसन इक्वेशन हो, उसकी कुछ बेसिक प्रॉपर्टीज मैंने आपको लास्ट लेक्चर में बताई थी. अगर आपके पास कोई हार्मोनिक फंक्शन है तो आप उसकी मैक्सिमा एंड मिनिमा की वैल्यू की बातें कैसे कर सकते हैं. सो दिस phi satisfy Laplace equation, that is phi xx plus phi yy is equal to 0. This is also represented by Laplacian of phi. This simple triangle denotes the Laplacian of phi, or you can write in this way also, grade square phi or del square. So these all are the notation for the Laplacian of phi. Either you denote by operator or you write explicitly, but the meaning of all the expressions are same. तो अगर आपके पास कोई phi फंक्शन है जो रियल वेरिएबल पे डिफाइन है x, y, and this phi is a real valued function and all the second order partial derivatives of phi are continuous on D and it satisfies Laplace equation, then we say this phi is a harmonic function. Why it is related to analytic function, I will give you the methodology. So this is the definition just. So you can say every constant function is a harmonic function. This is just a simple example. Suppose for example, every constant function is a harmonic function. You can see phi xx will be 0, phi yy will be 0. So this is just the simple example. Fz is equal to uxy plus ivxy is analytic on D. What can you say about these two functions, this u function and v function? Are they going to be harmonic? क्या ये दोनों function भी harmonic होंगे? We have given only one thing, this fz is analytic on D. So if this is analytic on D, I can say ux is equal to vy and uy is equal to minus vx. By using the Cauchy-Riemann equations, if you differentiate partially with respect to x, but for that you need this u to be having second order partial order derivatives, otherwise you cannot apply this methodology. So you note one thing, I will give you the proof in power series. You note this thing. If fz is analytic on the domain D, this implies fnz exists for all z in D for all n belongs to natural number. See, this is a very powerful statement. अगर आपका कोई भी फंक्शन एनालिटिक है किसी डोमेन D में, यानी कि अगर आपके पास आप कोई भी पॉइंट पिक करो, उसके पास हमेशा एक नेबरहुड ऐसा है जिस नेबरहुड में इसका जो फंक्शन का डेरिवेटिव है वो हमेशा एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है. अगर इसका फर्स्ट ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव एग्जिस्ट कर रहा है हर एक पॉइंट पे, किसी भी पॉइंट के किसी एक नेबरहुड में, तो उसके हर एक ऑर्डर का डेरिवेटिव एग्जिस्ट करेगा पूरे के पूरे डी में. सो दिस इज रिप्रेजेंटिंग एवरी ऑर्डर derivative of f exists in the domain D. The proof I will give you in power series. but this is not true in general of real case. So this analytic word is very crucial. अगर आप रियल फंक्शन में देखोगे तो आप हमेशा ऐसा फंक्शन बना सकते हो जो 1 टाइम डिफरेंशिएबल हो, 2 टाइम डिफरेंशिएबल नहीं हो, 3 टाइम डिफरेंशिएबल हो, 4 टाइम डिफरेंशिएबल नहीं हो. बट यू कैन नॉट कंस्ट्रक्ट अ फंक्शन विच इज n टाइम and whose nth derivative is analytic but n plus 1 derivative is not analytic. This is not true in complex analysis. So you note this statement. I will give you the proof later. तो अगर इस फंक्शन ये एनालिटिक है तो उसके हर एक ऑर्डर का डेरिवेटिव एग्जिस्ट करेगा. अगर डेरिवेटिव एग्जिस्ट करेगा तो ये पार्शियल ऑर्डर भी हमेशा, इनके पार्शियल डेरिवेटिव्स हमेशा एग्जिस्ट करेंगे. So you find uxx. Uxx will be vyx. Uyx will be minus vxx. Similarly, I can partially differentiate with respect to y. अगर y के रिस्पेक्ट में करेंगे तो I will have uxy is equal to vyy and uyy is equal to minus vxy. Now this u and v functions having continuous partial order derivatives, because this function is analytic, so it is n time differentiable or as many s times differentiable as you want. So this u and v both are differentiable with respect to x and y partially as of arbitrary order or as of order as you want. तो आप जिस भी ऑर्डर के जाओगे उसके पार्शियल ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव हमेशा एग्जिस्ट करेंगे और कॉन्टिन्यूस होंगे, बिकॉज दिस इज एनालिटिक फंक्शन. नाउ यू नो द क्लैरेट्स थ्योरम इन फंक्शन ऑफ सेवरल वेरिएबल. मैंने आपको बताया था कि अगर आप केस पार्शियल ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव्स एग्जिस्ट करें और कॉन्टिन्यूस हों किसी डोमेन डी में, तो आपका vxy और vyx दोनों सेम हो जाते हैं. तो ऑर्डरिंग डज नॉट मैटर प्रोवाइडेड योर पार्शियल ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव्स एग्जिस्ट एंड आर कॉन्टिन्यूस. So this vyx will be same as vxy. So you can say uxx is equal to vyx, but vyx is same as vxy, but vxy is same as minus uyy. So you will get uxx plus uyy is 0. That means your u is harmonic function. So if your f is analytic, your real part of f is always harmonic function. तो अगर आपको एनालिटिसिटी चेक करनी है, आप पहले चेक करो कि क्या ये u हार्मोनिक फंक्शन है या नहीं है, देन यू प्रोसीड फॉर द एनालिटिसिटी. सो दिस इज अगेन अ नेसेसरी कंडीशन. सिमिलरली यू कैन यूज इन दिस vyy is equal to uxy, but uxy is same as uyx by using the Clairaut's theorem. So uyx is same as minus vxx. You take this side vyy plus vxx is 0. So if your function is analytic, its real part and imaginary part both are harmonic functions. Now let me ask you one question. Let u is harmonic in a domain D. Can you give vxy such that f is equal to u plus iv is analytic in domain D? This is a very nice question. If I give you any harmonic function and I ask you to give me, and you are getting why this u to be harmonic, because if your function is analytic, its component functions u and v are harmonic. So if this u is not harmonic, you cannot construct such a function. So if u is harmonic, what is the way to construct this v so that I can make this f to be analytic? And this is another way for constructing new types of analytic function. If you give me any u which is harmonic, I can try to make a new analytic function. Let us go with example, then I will come to the general proof. Suppose u is y cube minus 3x square y. Let us verify whether this is harmonic or not. uxx plus uyy. If you find ux, this will be minus 3xy. If you again find uxx, so it will be minus 3y. Uyy. If you find uy, This is 3y square minus 3x square. Again you find, and you will get plus 3y. So this is harmonic function. So let us try to find this v function. Assume this f is equal to u plus iv is analytic. If this is analytic, then it must satisfy Cauchy-Riemann equation. Ux will be same as Vy, but Ux will be minus 3x square, sorry, minus 3xy. Ux will be, this is minus 6xy. Wait for a while. I'm committing a calculation mistake, I think. Your ux will be minus 6xy. Your uy will be 3y square minus 3x square. Now uxx will be minus 6y and uyy will be 6y. Now I am correct. So I have assumed this f is equal to u plus iv is analytic. If it is analytic, then u and v must satisfy the Cauchy-Riemann equations. Ux is equal to vy. What is your ux? Ux is minus 6xy. Now this is v. Integrate partially with respect to y. It will give you v is equal to minus 3xy square plus some function of x, because you have integrated partially with respect to y. Now this is your v, and we also know that uyy is equal to minus vx. So your uy is 3y square minus 3x square is equal to minus time vx. Minus time vx will be 3y square minus phi dash of x. So this 3y square and 3y square will get cancelled out. This negative will get cancelled out. Your phi x will be x cube plus some constant c. This is your phi. So you put your phi into this, then your v will be minus 3xy square plus x cube plus constant c. Now you can easily verify your f is now analytic function. Why it is analytic? Because your u and v both are polynomials. So all the partial order derivatives are going to exist and are continuous on whole complex plane. And what is remaining? Remaining is the Cauchy-Riemann equations. But the way we are constructing this v function, this is telling us or emphasizes us there is no need to verify the Cauchy-Riemann equation, because the way we are creating v is already satisfying the Cauchy-Riemann equation. So this f function is now analytic function. So in this case we have constructed, and such v is called harmonic conjugate of u. If u is a harmonic in D and v is a function which is harmonic and satisfying this f is equal to u plus iv is analytic in D, then such a v function is called harmonic conjugate in B. Let me give you another strong condition. F is equal to u plus iv is analytic in D if and only if v is harmonic conjugate of u in the domain D. Saying v is harmonic conjugate of u is totally different than u is harmonic conjugate of v. This is one noticeable thing. If v is harmonic conjugate of u, then u need not to be harmonic conjugate of v. You can construct plenty of examples. So this is if and only if condition. See, if V is harmonic conjugate of U in D, then by definition your F is analytic. The way we are constructing this, this part is easy. This is easy. Because if V is harmonic conjugate of U, that means we are having a function F which is U plus IV is analytic in D by the definition of harmonic conjugate. But from this part to this part, if F is equal to U plus IV is analytic in D, then I have already proved that U is harmonic, V is harmonic. And once your U and V both are harmonic and U plus IV is analytic, then by this definition, your V is harmonic conjugate of U. So the proof is easy from both the sides. This is also easy. And you have seen the way how can I construct the harmonic conjugate. But can you tell me one more thing? Okay, this will be your homework. Try to find the condition so that for every U which is harmonic, there exists a V which is harmonic conjugate of U. Try to find the condition. This is your homework. For a given U which is harmonic in D, there exists V which is harmonic conjugate of EU. So this is your homework, and the hint for you, this D. The hint is the domain part. This will be depending on the domain. Let me give you one example. Suppose U is equal to x square minus y square. V is equal to 2xy. You check whether U plus IV is analytic or not. If it is analytic, then V is harmonic conjugate of U. So this will be x square minus y square plus 2ixy. You verify Ux is equal to Vy. Your Ux will be 2x. Your Vy will be 2y. You verify this. Uy is equal to minus time Vx. Uy will be minus 2y and Vx will be 2y. If you take minus, then you will have minus 2y. So this is getting satisfied. This U is a polynomial, so every partial order derivatives exist and continuous. V is a polynomial, so every partial order derivative exists and is continuous in every domain of R2, because U and V are defined from R2. So this function is analytic and V is a harmonic conjugate of U. Now you replace your U and V. Define G is equal to V plus iota U. It will be 2xy plus iota time x square minus y square. Your Ux will be 2x. Your Vy will be, this is now your new U. This is your new V. So your Ux is 2x. And if you check the Vy, the Vy will be this is 2y, this is minus 2y. Both are unequal. That means if your V is a harmonic conjugate of U, then U need not to be a harmonic conjugate of V. Okay, what can I say if U is harmonic conjugate of V and V is harmonic conjugate of U? What can I say? Let U is harmonic conjugate of V and V is harmonic conjugate of U. See, if U is harmonic conjugate of V, that means f function which is V plus iota U, because you are saying U is harmonic conjugate of V. So this is analytic. We have again another function Because V is harmonic conjugate of U, that means U plus IV is analytic. So we are having these two analytic functions. We know the algebra of analytic function. Sum of two analytic function is analytic, difference of two analytic function is analytic. If I find this, F minus Ig, your Ig will be Iu minus V. So F is U plus IV, sorry, this is V plus Iu, Ig is Iu and plus V. So this is 2 times of V, and this V is only a real valued. We know that F minus Ig is again analytic function. Collection of all analytic function on a certain domain forms a vector space. So their linear combination is again an analytic function. So this is again analytic function. So this is analytic function and its imaginary part is 0. What can you conclude? Its imaginary part is 0, that means its imaginary part is constant. And in the previous lecture I have given you the way, if you are having an analytic function whose imaginary part is constant or whose real part is constant, then your function is going to be constant. So this its imaginary part is constant, this will force F minus Ig is constant. And once your F minus Ig is constant, your V is constant. And once your V is constant, V is the real part of your F function. F is constant. And V is your imaginary part of G. Your G is constant. So these are some basic facts which you can easily derive in 3 or 4 lines. Let V is harmonic conjugate of U, that is F is equal to U plus IV is analytic. So if V is harmonic conjugate of U, so we are having this F is equal to U plus IV is analytic in a certain domain. अगर ये एनालिटिक फंक्शन है, so I will have ux is equal to vy and I will have uy is equal to minus vx. I can say this. If I choose this g function, which is g is equal to v minus iu. See, this v is harmonic, u is harmonic. That means their second order partial derivatives exist and are continuous. So the second order partial derivatives of u and v or v and minus u both are existing and are continuous. What can you say about this? If I find vx, will it be equal to minus time uy? Yeah, that is definitely true because of this. If I find vy, can I say this is, let me write this as a v plus iota times minus u. Now it is looking nice. Vy is equal to minus time ux, but u function is minus u, so this will be only ux. That means for this g, Cauchy-Riemann equations are getting satisfied. They are also satisfying the sufficient condition for the differentiability. That means this g is analytic function, and once this g is analytic, I can surely say minus u is harmonic conjugate of v. So if v is harmonic conjugate of u, this will imply minus u is harmonic conjugate of v. Now you understand this part. Let me go more. let U is harmonic in the domain D and V1 and V2 are two harmonic conjugates if U is harmonic in the domain D, if V1 and V2 are two harmonic conjugates of U, or this implies V1 and V2 are V1 and V2 differ by a constant, or let me be more clear, differ by a real constant. So if you give me one harmonic conjugate, I can give you uncountably many. See how? First you see with the example. We have given this f is equal to U plus iota times V1. This is analytic. This is analytic. Now I am saying U plus iota times V1 plus constant Z. If you add any constant in this V1, then it is again going to be analytic. That means this V1 plus C is again going to be a harmonic conjugate of U. If you see Ux, it will be V1y. If you see Uy, it will be minus time V1x. Because if you differentiate partially with respect to x or y, your C will be 0. So these are again these are satisfying the Cauchy-Riemann equation. And if V1 having a second order partial order derivatives, then if you add any constant, it is again going to be exist. So that will not create a problem. So if V1 is harmonic conjugate of U, your V1 plus C is again a harmonic conjugate of U, where C is any real constant. So this you can do. Can you give me the proof for this? The proof will take hardly 2 or 3 lines, because I have given you the way how to think for this. I have given you one example. You can think how to think for the general case. I will give you the hint. U plus I V1 and G is equal to U plus I V2. This is analytic. This is analytic. So you think in this way. Ux is equal to V1y, which is same as V2y. Uy is equal to minus V1x, which is same as minus V2x. Now you integrate with respect to y partially, then put into this, then you will get the general way. So this I am leaving it to you. I think you can do. This is only 2-line proofs. Only 2-line proof. So these are some basic properties related to harmonic functions and analyticity. So I am stopping now. I will give you 2 or 3 statements in the next lecture. Then I will move to the exponential function, logarithm function and trigonometric functions. And after finishing that topic, I will be providing you the video solution of the first topic, that means the complex numbers and analyticity part. So your assignment will be for complex numbers plus analytic functions. There you will get plenty of questions. I will be covering all the questions of previous year from the CSIR-NET examination, from GATE examination, from CMI examination, if there is any from these 2 sections. Then we will move further for the further topic. So this is my strategy for the complex analysis. First I will cover these 2 assignments after finishing the exponential and logarithm function and trigonometric functions. Then we will move to the integration of complex or complex integration. And आप भी अगर आप इंटरेस्टेड हो अच्छे से पढ़ने में, तो आपके पास जो भी बुक अवेलेबल हो, does not matter how small is this or how big is this, बेस्ड ऑन द राइटर, नॉट द साइज ऑफ बुक। तो आपके पास जो भी बुक अवेलेबल हो आप उसकी एक्सरसाइज सॉल्व करना स्टार्ट कर दो। जब तक आप खुद से सॉल्व नहीं करोगे एग्जामिनेशन में कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आएगा। आप कोई भी एग्जाम उठा के देख लो, जब तक आप खुद से ट्राई नहीं करोगे, खुद की प्रैक्टिस नहीं होगी, एग्जाम में अटेम्प्ट नहीं होंगे प्रॉब्लम्स। चलिए मैं यहीं स्टॉप करता हूँ। थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग दिस लेक्चर।